But a sell still has a buy and needs a 2+2 settlement. Yeah. I think that's where everyone gets like confused with these FTD cycles, is that like they're just occurring. They don't necessarily mean anything until they do. But the tracking of these FTDs is important because it gives us insight into their positions and how they're managing their positions. Because it's data that we really shouldn't have, but we do, right? So while they may not come to fruition, they may mean nothing. The FTDs may not be of great enough significance to have an effect on the price of the underlying. Knowing when they're due is important. You don't have to track when they're due. You don't have to gamble on when they're due. But knowing when they're due, it puts us in a much better place in predicting future movements of the stock. It tells us when positions haven't been covered. By tracking these things like their entropy swaps and the closing of their in the money puts, and watching how they roll this volatility through the ETFs is important in understanding what their position on GameStop currently is. So if we ignore that, if we're just like, oh, this doesn't work because it doesn't improve the price, doesn't mean that it's not relevant. Likely a strategy shift for Putin too. Full-scale invasion is weakening and not as effective as originally thought. Now the time to cut resources and bluff nuclear option to keep leverage. It's possible. Same concept works for hostage situations. Cut the power, limit comms. I've seen Die Hard like 741 times. Bullish. I mean, it's terrible. It's an unprovoked attack of a peaceful nation. There's nothing good about it. There's also confusion with the idea that every trade ends in a T+2 FTD. Most trades will net out day of and never go to FTD. Yeah, I agree. And that's why we focus on these higher volatility events in the generation of FTDs. Yeah. And we're not looking at 500,000 or 800,000 volume traded days to generate a large number of FTDs. Sometimes we look more from something not happening than when it does happen. Learn more. Yeah. Like the position we're in right now, for me, is fucking crazy. Like everything is in place. The orders have all been executed, but there's no sustained volume on GameStop whatsoever. And that could be both very bullish or very bearish, but it is the first occurrence of it after 6 separate other occurrences of the exact same thing that has not led to price action. So the question is why? And that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, this is a big deal, the failure of this OPEC cycle. If people don't realize it, that's, not my fucking problem. What are your thoughts on the short volume being as high as it's been over the past few days? There's a post saying it hasn't been over 70% since a day in July. I don't know where they're tracking their short volume information from, but I see 67% for yesterday. And that's less than we saw in January, where we did see 70%. I really, really wish this man was the one making the argument on behalf of retail in that Jon Stewart show. I don't have a publicist.